Including us, many people carry around bitterness. They are resentful and angry. As the bitterness takes root, it grows within them. Over the days and weeks and years, the bitterness becomes manifested through physical illness. You might be bitter towards your friends or your parents or a relative. You might be bitter towards your coworker or a supervisor. You might be bitter towards a fellow church member or a pastor. You cannot hold on to the bitterness all the time. The only person your bitterness is hurting is yourself. Bitterness will make you sick. As Hebrews 12:15 says, the root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble. So you need to know that bitterness is a tool for the devil. Bitterness destroys the relationships. Bitterness locks us in isolation and it prevents us from experiencing God's healing. We need to strive to release ourselves from this bitterness. Nothing good ever comes from holding on to it, like literally nothing. Bitterness is the way of the world. We see bitterness in the politics, in the church, we see bitterness between nations, even in families. So, bitterness seems to be a popular choice we make every day. It's not an easy thing to let go. You can't do it on your own. You can only do it through the strength that God gives you through Jesus Christ. It would have been easy for Jesus to have been bitter, but could have been bitter towards Judas for betraying him. He could have been bitter towards the other disciples for deserting him, towards the religious leaders for accusing him, and even us every day for hurting him. He could have been bitter towards all the people. But he chose to die for us. And bitter was the opposite of what he chose to be. He chose love. And through his blood, he made provision for the forgiveness of all the ways we ever offended him. And today, you may want to be bitter and angry, but let Christ do a new thing in you. So, how to give up on this bitterness? Take a cotton ball and put some vinegar on it. Touch it to your tongue. Consider the taste the vinegar tells you and relate it to the bitterness. After tasting the vinegar, eat some fruit, a sweet fruit. Consider the differences between the vinegar and the fruit. How do the differences relate to bitterness and love? So choose love. Release the bitterness you have felt towards a person and ask Jesus for healing.